One of the greatest ways that we can move ahead with strong mental health, a powerful mental attitude, is to learn how to accept others who are really different than we are. This is crucial. This is just so important. And yet, how many times do we do that? How many times do we look at someone who's really super different than what we are and say, you know, I can accept that person. I don't have to like them necessarily. I don't have to make them a friend, but accepting them as being different is crucial to our mental health. And I'm going to give you a couple stories and explain why. David Essel here for the past 43 years as a #1 best-selling author, counselor, master life coach, minister, radio, TV host. The list goes on and on and on. Then this is an important topic because it's such a difficult one, right? We are filled with such judgment, most of us, including myself. Oh my God, I judge people all the time. The difference is that we need to be aware that we're judging, and we need to be aware of the downfall of judging. When we judge other people because they're overweight, they're smokers, they're drinkers, they're show-offs with their cars or whatever it might be, is that we hurt us. We don't hurt them. It's that negativity that's coming out of our judgment that gives us the damage. And at some point it gets to the cellular level. You judge people long enough, you have hatred in your veins long enough, you have disgust in your veins long enough, you have racism in your veins long enough, it's going to wear you out. It's going to lead to addictions. It's going to lead to all kinds of insanity, because we have to learn that key element of living in peace with others who are different than us. Let me tell you a story. A number of years ago, I teach, of course, most people know, a life coach certification program. We've been teaching it all over the world since 1996. And I had a woman, and we were talking about accepting others, and it's part of our ethical portion of the certification, where we say it's ethically and morally right to accept our clients as they are, even if we don't enjoy their lifestyle, even if we don't enjoy their habits, whatever it might be. And it is really crucial, because if someone comes in and they're very overweight and you have a prejudice against overweight, someone comes in and they're a smoker, you have a prejudice against smokers. Someone comes in and they are fill in the blank, right? Let's say someone comes in and they're dressed to the nines with all kinds of gold on, and you go, oh, what a show off. But that's hurting you. It's not hurting them. So what we teach during our course is that if we have judgment against others, we cannot work with them. I mean, it's impossible to help someone who you're judging. So let me tell you the story. We have about 22 people in the class a number of years ago, and we were talking about who we judge regularly, which is one of the questions of what type of person that we judge. So people were saying, the overweight, the alcoholic, and then this one woman said smokers. And so we went around and I gave them all the same assignment. How do you let go of your judgment of those people that you judge most harshly? The show-offs, the overweight, the smokers, whatever it might be. So we had everyone come up with a solution, except for this one woman said, David, I'm never going to be able to accept a smoker. I can't stand it. I think it's disgusting. They're killing themselves. The smell is horrendous. And she went on and on and on. And so I said, well, what would you do if you got a smoker in a session? And she said, I'd probably freeze. And I said, why? And she said, because I wouldn't want to fire them because they're coming for help. At the same time, I find them disgusting. I said, okay, we need to change this, because the odds are, with about 20% of Americans smoking, you're going to run into someone who's a smoker. So let's work on it. So I said, I want to give you the opportunity. You come up with a program first. If you can, I'll help you. She came back the next week. She goes, David, I just can't do it. And I said, okay, I'm going to give you this opportunity. Where do you normally go? Outside malls? Where do you go where there's people that sit around and smoke? And she said, well, there's this famous mall outside mall in the city that I live in, and I go there every week. I just love it. It has boutiques, it has restaurants, it has everything. Are there places where people sit and congregate to smoke? She said, yes, there's a tattoo parlor. And I walk by and I always shake my head in disgust, because there's at least one tattoo artist out there smoking. So I said, okay, this is going to be huge, but I need to ask you to do this to pass the course. I need you to go down and sit next to a smoker and be able to create a conversation. Of course, at first she flipped out and said, no way, but she realized the course was on the line. And I wasn't doing this to punish her. I was doing this to show her that you need to be able to work with everyone. I mean, if you're going to cut out smokers, then who are you going to cut out next, right? The overweight. And then if you cut out overweight, who are you going to cut out next? People who drink. And then all of a sudden you're going to be down to no one, because these are all people that need your energy and your love. So she did it. And wait till you hear the end result. Now, she was dead set against it, but she finally relented. And she walked by probably 5 or 6 times and saw people sitting out there smoking, just couldn't do it. Then she walked by one time and there was one woman sitting out there. And she came over and sat down. She goes, hey, do you mind if I sit here? And she goes, oh my God, no. and they struck up a conversation. She said, David, at first, all I could focus on was the cigarette and the smoke and how disgusting it was. After about 15 minutes, we're having this most amazing conversation, and I'm finding myself making a new friend. Now that's what I'm talking about, right? Now that's mental healing, because she just took this old belief system that was limiting her own personal growth, and she shattered it by sitting down with a person that smoked, and she didn't die, and she didn't have a heart attack, and she didn't run for the hills, right? Trying to accept others who are different than us is crucial. I wrote a book, The Real Life Adventures of Catherine Calloway I. If there was one within reaching distance, I would grab one. But The Real Life Adventures of Catherine Calloway I. Matter of fact, if I remember, I'll put a link below. Also, comment below on these videos. Do you agree with me that we should learn how to accept others? Now, when she made friends with this smoker, they didn't go out smoking together. They didn't get together every week and do great, grand things. They texted, they stayed in touch, they said hi. When she was in the mall, she would stop by and say hi to her. So it's not like you've got to become best friends, but is it the homeless that you push away, right? Like, what is it? What are the people that we could learn to accept with a little bit more compassion, which helps our mental healing immensely? In the book, Catherine Calloway I, there's this little girl that comes into the school, and she looks very different than everyone else. It's an all-white school. She's Asian. She doesn't really communicate that well, so she sits in the corner. Her dad moved around constantly, city to city, so she was never really grounded. So she sat in the corner all by herself. And so the most popular girl in the school, I'm going to give away the story, obviously, Cat Calloway comes one day and sees this little girl sitting by herself. And she said, that's not right. I'm going to go over and make friends with her. So as she went over, all of her friends, Cat Calloway's friends, were saying, hey, Cat, come over here and sit with us. And she went by group after group calling her name. And she ended up sitting down with the little girl that everyone thought was weird, looked different, didn't talk, all these high judgments. They didn't want to be with her. Fast forward to the end of the story. Cat Calloway befriends her, and the whole school finds out this little girl has a gift. I won't tell you what the gift is, but it's a special gift that everyone benefits from. So think about this. Write down right now, who do you judge harshly? And how can you move past that? That's the question. I'm David Essel. If you're here in this place and you judge yourself, oh my God, we judge ourselves so harshly. If you judge yourself too harshly and you want to change, if you judge others harshly and you want to change, let's work together. I've worked with clients from all over the world for the past 43 years. I'd love to help you. Also, don't forget to join our mental healing program, Helping Americans Heal. That's at TalkDavid.com. To work with me one-on-one, TalkDavid.com. And don't forget to comment on this topic below. And then the third way is that if you're saying, I really want to help people break through and maximize their potential, become a certified mental health and master life coach. We have a certification going on right now at your own pace. It's an online video certification, only $150 a month. You will come out ready to rock this world. So let's have a great day. Let's learn to accept others that aren't like us in order to relieve our mental stress and to help the world to heal. I'm David Essel. Have a beautiful day.